What is up, guys? This is Mateo's 2020 Politics here, and today we're going to be discussing the awards for the debaters of the 10th Democratic Party presidential primary debate of 2020. Now, I didn't make a video on this debate right away because A, I just didn't enjoy it. I'll tell you why in a bit. But B, I got my braces, fixed. So for a couple days, I just couldn't speak well. I could barely eat anything. But now I'm fine, although it's a bit hard to understand me. If you can't, then pardon me, but it's not because of me, it's because of the braces. But, my braces do not interfere with my politics. I'm still into politics, thankfully. And I will be making a video today on the 10th debate. Now, before I start, I agree with you all, in a sense that this debate was a disaster. It was bad. It really was. Because there are two types of bad debates. One is just a boring debate that is forgettable. The second one is just one that's a disaster. It just doesn't go well. People are fighting each other the whole time. And it goes down in the history of 2020/2019 as one of the worst debates. This is one of those, because the whole night was just the candidates arguing with each other, nothing really happening. It wasn't, like, it wasn't civilized. But look, once again, I like it when candidates get angry. I like it when they're passionate. I like it when they show energy. But when all of them are doing it at the same time, it just isn't fun. It's really irritating, and it gets you almost upset when you're watching it instead of having fun. So, I didn't like this debate. It's probably one of the worst of all time, this election cycle. It's up there with the 7th debate, the 8th debate, and 5th debate. So, the best ones, in my opinion, are the 3rd, 6th, and 9th. So imagine coming from one of the best debates of all time, in my opinion the best, which is the 9th debate, and coming to this one. It's a disaster. So, it wasn't just the fact that the candidates were always constantly clashing, constantly going against Bernie Sanders, but also the moderator's fault. Because the moderators were asking these questions that are very simple. Like, they weren't interesting questions. I can't pull up an example right now, but they were just very simple, black and white questions that didn't really require complex answers. And they just couldn't keep the candidates in control. It was like a recess yard in school where the teachers are trying to keep all the children in line, but they can't. Because these moderators would just let the people speak over their time. They let them interrupt each other, and I was just like, come on, get them in line. Get this debate sturdy. You need to keep it organized. So, people like to joke around about the moderators being the loser of the debate. I don't like to do that because I like to actually be serious. But if the moderators were to be included, right, in this video, they'd be the loser. Straight up the number one loser. Because they couldn't handle the debate properly. So now, let's get to the actual awards. Winner, and I have a Bernie shirt, but I'm not going to show my bias in this video. You'll see why soon. Winner, Elizabeth Warren. Now, nobody dominated this debate because, once again, it was just a disaster. It was terrible. So, nobody really did well. Everybody just did a pretty mediocre job, or if not, just a straight-up bad job. So, Warren just did an okay job, but she still stood up, she still stood out when compared to the rest of the candidates. She didn't do as well as she did in the 9th debate. She dominated that debate, in my opinion. She got first place. Easily got first place, no real competition. But in this debate, she also got first place, but it was only because all the other candidates did badly or did such a mediocre or lackluster job to the point where she comes out as a winner. And she did do well. She didn't do great, she didn't do terribly, she was just okay, if not a bit above average, which is why she wins this debate. She didn't attack Michael Bloomberg much, which she has just been doing a lot lately. But she made the case basically saying, I'm a progressive, I'm for policies that these people aren't for, I'm a unique candidate. And now, let's move on to our second winner. That was why Elizabeth Warren was the main winner. Here's our second winner. This will surprise you. This is Tom Steyer. That's right, Tom Steyer. Of all people, Tom Steyer. Mind you, I just pushed back a hiccup. So Tom Steyer was the second winner of this debate. Because, once again, not the same case with Elizabeth Warren's. Not because they did well, but because all the other candidates just did bad jobs. So he comes above the fray. However, I think the real main reason why Tom Steyer won, or what was the second winner, pardon me, was because while all the candidates were clashing with each other, he was kind of like on his own, which he always does in every debate, which is kind of strange. He was on his own speaking right to the camera while all the candidates were fighting. And it made you get the sensation, if you were a supporter of his, that he was speaking right to you. He wasn't in any of this nonsense with the candidates fighting each other. He was just speaking right to the American people, a no-nonsense candidate. So he kind of came out as being above the fray, being kind of more solo, which did separate him from the field, and made him the second winner. And now, for the loser of the debate, Bernie Sanders. I know, I'm a Bernie supporter, and people actually disagree with me on this. Everybody thinks that Bernie Sanders won this debate. Well, not everybody, but many people think that Bernie Sanders won this debate. However, I, a Bernie supporter, believe he didn't. And there are a few reasons why. And you can tell I don't have a bias towards him, because I can say when Bernie loses the debate, I can say when he wins the debate, I can say when somebody else wins the debate. So, he won for a couple reasons that weren't his fault. He lost for a couple reasons that weren't his fault, and a couple that actually were. So first, the moderators actually played a role in him losing. Why? Well, they kept, throwing around the Democratic Socialist tag, and already he is a self-proclaimed Democratic Socialist. But, that's going to turn out some people. Like, anybody who's apolitical is watching this debate, and they say, and then the moderator's like, Bernie Sanders, you are a Democratic Socialist. The viewers are going to be like, alright, too extreme. But then they also threw in the word socialist as if it meant the same thing when they're actually completely different philosophies, and it kind of messed up the view of Bernie Sanders. But, what can you expect? It is the mainstream media. This is CBS News. They're going to smear him. I just saw an article made by the Washington Post, where they basically, they were claiming that he berated moderators in the last debate, and they summarized a quote of his. So, and then they went like this, blah blah blah, said the socialist. No, you don't have to say said the socialist, just say said Bernie Sanders, or Bernie Sanders said. They're literally replacing Bernie Sanders or the 2020 candidate or variant of that with socialist. Like they're trying to smear him. It's very subtle, but it's clear that the mainstream media does not like Bernie Sanders and try to make him more extreme than he actually is. Because they were using the terms Democratic Socialist and Socialist interchangeably. Now, another reason that Bernie lost, which was also the moderator's fault, and I'm not making up excuses for him. There are actually a couple reasons in here that Bernie lost that were his own fault. So, the second reason why Bernie lost was the moderators, once again, did not have control over the debate. What would happen is that somebody would attack Bernie, and instead of just letting Bernie speak because he got attacked, they let Tom Steyer speak, or somebody else speak. Look, if you were to be attacked in a debate by another candidate, the moderator should call on you for a response or a defense, not another candidate who has nothing to do with this argument. It just doesn't make any sense. So what happened was that Bernie Sanders would just get attacked over and over and over again by every single candidate, and wouldn't have enough time to respond. He would just get lost, which wasn't his fault. And, by the end of those 5 or so attacks, he would only be able to respond to one of them because CBS News would decide to move on to another candidate before letting him respond to somebody else attacking him. It just doesn't make sense. Once again, if you are attacked in a debate, you should be able to speak next, to reply next, not another random candidate that has nothing to do with you. So, and now, for the third reason that Bernie Sanders lost. He didn't explain how to pay for Medicare for all. And I've always found it so strange how Bernie Sanders doesn't know how to defend the Medicare for all payment deal. He has never really described how to pay for it in depth, when literally I can. And guys, don't think that Medicare for all is unaffordable. It is affordable. But Bernie, for some reason, never really describes how it actually is. So, Mayor Pete always attacks him saying, how much does it cost? How do you pay for it? Joe Biden does the same. He likes to say, it costs $30 trillion. How are you going to pay for it? Amy Klobuchar does the same. Basically, every single centrist candidate running for the presidency, they all attack him for not being able to pay for the policy. And actually, there is a way to pay for it. The way to pay for it is through the 70% wealth tax by taxing the top 1% of the richest Americans by 70%. And then that tax money goes directly to Medicare for all. And the second way is just to tax everybody in the nation overall. But hold on, they're getting taxed, so they're going to lose some money, in exchange for free health care. So it's actually a net gain of money, because while their taxes are increasing, they could fund Medicare for all. They do end up getting Medicare for all, aka free health care, so they benefit from that. It's a net gain of money. But for some reason, when Bernie was attacked, he never said, oh, okay, it's affordable through the 70% wealth tax, or it's affordable through taxing every American, and paying for it. He never said that. And it made it seem like he just didn't know what he was fighting for. It made it seem like he didn't know how to defend it. When I don't know if he does, I don't know if he doesn't, but clearly he doesn't do. If he does know how to defend, how to pay for it, he doesn't tell people for some reason. I don't know, man. It's upsetting because I love Bernie Sanders, but I can get upset at him sometimes because I'm like, come on, you have to do a better job defending Medicare for all, because that price tag is very big, and there are ways to pay for it. So explain those ways, because then you're basically letting the centrist candidates win. And, instead of directly answering the question of how to pay for it, he'll go on and say, private insurance is the status quo, and it costs a lot more than Medicare for all would. I'm like, yes, we know, but how much does Medicare for all cost? And that's why Bernie Sanders lost this debate. And it's hard for me to say because I'm a Bernie supporter. I passionately love this guy. Not romantically, but I just really like his policies. But he lost this debate because reason number one, the moderators kept throwing around the Democratic Socialist / Socialist label, which would automatically makes people fear supporting him. They just wouldn't let him reply to people's attacks, and this one's his fault. He doesn't really explain how to pay for Medicare for all, and once again, it's affordable. He just doesn't know how to explain it, and it makes him look like a fool because it makes it seem like he doesn't really know what he's talking about. So, overall, I don't think I'm going to make videos for this debate, because it was a mess. It just wasn't fun. I don't think there are really any standout, pop-out moments. It was just kind of wild the whole way through. And there isn't really any great destruction moment of another candidate. It's just attack over and over again on different candidates, particularly Bernie Sanders. But, yeah, guys, summarization of this video. Winner, Elizabeth Warren. Second winner, Tom Steyer. And loser, Bernie Sanders. So, see you guys later, and bye.